you recording? All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to start a few minutes early here. We got the live stream recording as well. So good morning and welcome to Iowa State FarmHouse Fraternity Chapter's Annual Founders Day. My name is Jed Wise. I'm serving as this semester's Alumni Director. And on behalf of all of our members, we are all truly grateful to be a part of such an amazing organization, FarmHouse, full of outstanding young men who are pushing each other constantly to grow in all aspects of our lives. And additionally, we want to thank all of our outstanding alumni for their constant and continual support with our chapter and their guidance in both wisdom and how they can serve our chapter. We wish we could have invited more alumni, obviously, in person to this year's event. But due to that, we are looking forward to hosting an event at the Iowa State State Fair this summer. Due to the unfortunate circumstances, we couldn't host more alumni here. So be looking out in the Lampus for more updates on that. We're looking forward to having that, working with Robert Wallow out of Monticello on that. So that'll be really fun to have this summer. But for now, we still have an amazing program here planned for you with some really cool new pieces, these quilts that we'll get into later. But we still have a really great program we're looking forward to today. And so now I'm going to get started with Ryan Heron, my assistant. He's got a few words to say, and then we'll pass over to Matt Skarzog with some association updates. So Ryan, if you want to come up.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good morning. My name is Ryan Heron. I'm serving as the Assistant Director of Alumni Relations this semester. And just to start, this is something that I've been working on for the last few weeks. This is a map of where everyone in FarmHouse is going this summer, whether it be internships, jobs, work for the church. So you can see it's a pretty good spread. It's a cool graphic just to show where people are going to be at. Alumni, I am looking to make one of these maps for where alumni are at in their lives right now. Going out into the real world, after college or even just for internships over the summer can be sort of scary. So I think it'd be really cool to have a map sort of just to show where our alumni are at and you'd be able to make connections. So on each page, this is just a dot of Jansen Bundred's. It'll show where he works, give a little bit more information about him in an email, so you can reach out and connect to these students. So I'll be sending this specific map out in the next edition of the Lampus. So you'll be able to see where students are going this summer, and if you want to reach out to them, welcome them to a new city, if that's where they're ending up, I think that'd be an awesome thing. But alumni also, there's a form I sent out in my email with the invitation to this event on Wednesday. That form would be to help me make that map for alumni. So that's all I have for you today. Next, I'll pass it to Matt Skarzog, the Association Board President, for the Association Board updates.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for participating in Founders Day this year. It was too bad that we weren't able to gather last year, but I'm glad that we're able to at least celebrate Founders Day in some capacity. My name is Matt Skarzog. I'm a 2010 initiate of this chapter. And yeah, I'm the current Association Board President. I wanted to kick off this portion of the presentation just with a quick sprint through some of the memories of the chapter. This chapter has been involved in, I think we're going on 11 decades now. We got our start in 1923 as the Lampus chapter, got installed as FarmHouse in 1927. So just the fact that we're here today and we're doing so well is something to be very thankful for. And that's what Founders Day is all about. Is to celebrate this great chapter. I went through some photo archives, and so I thought I'd entertain us a little bit with some pictures from each decade. This is our installation in 1927. Then I moved into the 30s. If you guys recognize this face, this is a young C.J. Goddard when he was in the chapter. This is our old farmhouse building, I think a couple versions ago. This is a news article from the 40s. I like the title of this, How Farm Boys Manage Names. So apparently, yeah, that was worth writing an article about. But and then moving into the 50s, I was looking for Jim Freebert's name, and we'll have Jim speak later, but I noticed that your name was tagged to this Visha float in 1958. I'm not sure if you remember that, but apparently the float was about Lincoln's assassination. So I thought that was a very somber float. But but a great one at the time. I don't know if you remember that.
What's that saying?
A Nation Stricken is the title of that one. I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, a glimpse in the past there. So, and then where are we at? The 60s. The look of the outside of the house there. Here's the 70s, very 70s oriented. I think that was a serenade from a wedding, probably in the 70s, which we still do. This is a picture of two guys talking to the founder of FarmHouse, Mr. Doan, who was visiting Ames at that point in time. Then we got the 80s initiation, very 80s too, and Yell Like Hell in the late 80s. Which guys are still participating in. I like this picture just because I like the computer and dating that a little bit. This is the old kitchen from before the 90s remodel, so this would have been in the basement back then, guys. And then got the 2000s here with our bed racer, Greek Week. This is where I come in the 2010s. We all hopped on the side ride and took a picture before Serenade, so that was kind of a cool photo. And then we arrived here today. What I like about reviewing the history a little bit is that as I was going through decade by decade, I could relate more and more to the activities and the events of the chapter. But more so, I could relate to the camaraderie of the individuals and the friendships that they had with each individual in the chapter. And just a group of men trying to balance themselves in fourfold development. Working on various projects, sometimes in competition or simply servicing community. It's these undergrad experiences that kick off a lifelong membership to this organization. And what I've noticed is that this experience compels several of us to continue to give our time, pleasures, and comforts to this fraternity even 40 or 50 years beyond our undergrad experience. There's a commonality that we share through the years, and that is that we are builders of men. So what I wanted to do is kick off with doing the object of our fraternity. So, the object of our fraternity is to help center everyone on a common goal. So if you could all stand if you're in the room. And I encourage you, if you're at home, you know the object, or try to mumble through the words, but I'll try my best too. So start out. The object of
Our fraternity is to promote good fellowship, to encourage studiousness, and to inspire its members in seeking the best in their chosen lines of study, as well as in life. Progress shall mark our every step. The spirit of congeniality shall reign at all times, and every member shall be honest with himself, as with his brothers. Men elected to our membership are considered to be of good moral character, to be high in scholarship, to have the capacity for meeting and making friends, and to give promise of service to their fellow men and to the world. To be and to become such may at times require sacrifice of time, pleasures, and comforts.
All right, thanks, guys. Take a seat. Yeah, looks like everyone remembered the words too. So, yeah, thanks for doing that, guys. I think that's a really cool experience that connects generation to generation on just the object of our fraternity. Moving on to some business, I'd like to give a brief update of the association board's activities so far in 2021. Just an update that the board consists of myself, Ryan Zenisek, Dan Johnson, our secretary, Kurt Rosentrader, Ken Ashley, Maynard Hobart, and our treasurer, Eugene Rodberg. FarmHouse, we actually just passed a motion last night to, as an association, to give to this thing called the FarmHouse Day of Giving. Basically, it's to raise funds for the FarmHouse Excellence Fund. And I don't know if you guys might have received emails about this FarmHouse International campaign to try to raise money for this fund. I was checking individual contributions along with the association. I think the Iowa State team has raised like somewhere over $30,000. So A huge thank you to those of you who have decided to contribute as a family or as an individual. That's awesome that you guys are donating to FarmHouse International in that way. So if we could give a hand to those. A couple other individual contributions that we'd like to mention. John Schmallenberger, he was initiated in 1969. He passed away in December of 2019. John's estate has made a contribution towards the Iowa State FarmHouse Memorial Fund. So we'd like to announce that as an association and thank his family and his estate for doing that. So thank you. Another recent contribution, Greg and Kathy Gannon, the parents of Bradley Gannon, they made a generous donation, and they basically said the association board can use the excess of that donation towards whatever we feel is best for the fraternity and kind of the facility. So we used a portion of that money to purchase one of the new couches that the guys are enjoying in the formal living room. So we felt like that was a good way of honoring that donation and something that serves the chapter, and it also looks just a lot better in there. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. So other activities that the board has been able to participate in, we used some funds to help sponsor the Gallup Strengths-Based Leadership course for the guys. So this purchased books and other supplies, as well as brought in a speaker to help conduct a workshop, a leadership workshop. Huge thanks to the guys for participating in that, and hopefully it was received well. And thank the association for helping fund that activity. Lastly, I wanted to mention the kitchen project. Eugene Rodberg, he had announced that we were going to start a bigger project on upgrading the kitchen, which wasn't really touched in the renovation and the expansion that went on 5 years ago. And now we felt that it was time to give it a little bit of new life. So a little update on that. We have a new dishwasher, new disposal. Those are in operation and being used now. We have new cabinets and countertops coming in. And let me see. Yeah. So the new cabinets and countertops, those are going to get installed in May. And this is actually a picture of the old ones. I took this picture off of our archives. Apparently, this was the 1993 construction of that. So it looks like it hasn't been touched since. So, and that's probably about right. It was time to do a renovation, and I think that will serve the chef, Jamie, and the boys really well, getting that kitchen remodeled. So that is about it that I have for association board announcements. Once again, I'd like to thank our alumni for supporting the association, and thank the guys for keeping the house in good working order. So with that, Jed would like to announce our next speaker.
All right, so what we're going to move on to next is a short message from FarmHouse International. Allison Rickles is I think you saw my Yes, Allison Rickles is the executive director of the FarmHouse Foundation, and she was gracious enough to send us a video message to kind of explain what's going on new as far as FarmHouse International goes. So.
Hi, this is Allison Rickles, Executive Director and CEO of the FarmHouse Foundation. Happy Founders Day, Iowa State, and congratulations on another year of FarmHouse and all the milestones that you've accomplished this last year. I am coming to you with my hearty congratulations and well wishes and hellos to all those that are participating both virtually and in person. It's an important time to celebrate FarmHouse and its legacy, and now 116 years strong since our founding April 15th, 1905. And we have much to celebrate. This year was unique and challenging, but so many of you, alumni and students, rose to the occasion. We're so proud of our Iowa State chapter in particular for not only persevering, sustaining, and just moving on with all the challenges that you had, whether that was being school remotely, dealing with COVID outbreaks, and just sticking together. Congratulations, and mostly for being named the Ruby Cup recipient for 2020. That's an incredible accomplishment any year, but in particular during a pandemic. I also want to say thank you to our alumni for your generosity, for digging in, for continuing to support the chapter when things are challenging and times are unique. This time of year, I'm very reflective about the founding of FarmHouse and what those 7 men from the University of Missouri started so long ago, 116 years ago. I often think back to the fact that they wondered if FarmHouse was worth continuing. They often were quoted by saying, "Was it worth it?" And they had many reasons for saying no, but one for saying yes. I don't think the founders ever dreamed that they would have a fraternity for this many years and continuing to go strong, have over 30,000 men ever initiated into it, and 40 chapters across the country. That's incredible. And all of our chapters have sustained themselves during this last year. So I first want to say thank you. And thank you for your generosity. Many of you are very generous to FarmHouse. In fact, last fiscal year, 221 Iowa State alumni and undergraduates made a gift to the FarmHouse Foundation. Certainly, we can't do it alone, and you all step up to that. Additionally, I know today you're going to award scholarships for the next academic year and get to announce those. And I am so pleased that as of now, we have 20 endowment funds that benefit the chapter. That's incredible. That's actually one of our largest groups or our largest number of endowments for one particular chapter. And to be able to award over $60,000 in academic scholarships for our students is remarkable. I know that's helping many of you be able to continue education, pay for books, pay for living expenses, and not have to take out so much debt. That makes a huge difference. So thank you to those donors that made it possible. It's incredible to see that list of people, whether that's Carl Hertz or Jean and Linda Lloyd, who have been so philanthropic, as well as a number of other people who really have invested in the chapter. And many of you who invest in our FarmHouse Excellence Fund, that unrestricted annual support to help sustain and all of our chapters and help them thrive, whether that's in good times or in tough times. So one story I want to share is, you can see I'm sitting in a new space for us. This is our FarmHouse office, brand new to us in downtown Kansas City, which I will hope you will come visit the next time you're in the area. We are taking guests and hanging pictures and decorating as we speak. But one fun thing about the new office related to Founders Day is I had a phone call about a week ago from the great-granddaughter of H.H. Kruskoff, one of our founders of the fraternity. And she's donating some china and other memorabilia from her great-grandfather. And I was telling her about our new office space and where it was. And a fun piece or connection with our founder is that she personally actually came to Kansas City for a year, and through a Senate Appropriations Committee helped with the preservation and restoration for many buildings in downtown Kansas City. And in particular worked on this building and the complex that we're in so that it could be on the National Register of Historic Places and receive federal funding for renovation. So we are a beneficiary of her work, who is a descendant of one of our founders. Feels very meant to be, as well as the green paint on the outside of the building and other touches that just feel really special. And I think that's a lot of times what FarmHouse is, those special touches, whether that's small world stories or connections. I will say Iowa State men are some of the very best alumni that I know for many reasons. You probably don't want to tell too many others that, but you people are my favorites, especially growing up in Cedar Rapids. You're always so welcoming and kind to me and generous. And so It's awesome to see all of you reconnecting and wanting to connect, whether that's with your classes of ERA, whether that's through Founders Day, coming back for homecoming. So I applaud your continued work to make this chapter successful. Our more struggling chapters are often those that lack volunteers, lack alumni engagement, don't have chapter advisors to support them. This chapter does, and it's incredible that you all do. And I hope that will continue for many, many years to come. You'll have amazing successes and much to be proud of at this time. As we look ahead, I was asked to share a couple things I want to put on the forefront of your mind. Is up next week is our Farmhouse Day of Giving, April 14th and 15th. I hope that you will step up to the challenge and be a part of this unique and unprecedented fun time for Farmhouse. Unprecedented in that we're celebrating again, right? Like we're gonna really do it up to celebrate how far we've come together in this last year. We're gonna be doing some virtual happy hours, emails we'll be sending, social media shout outs. So I ask you to be a part of it, and you can do so in 3 ways. 1, by sharing your why. Why is Farmhouse still relevant to you and important? You can email that to me or post it on your social media pages. 2, connect like you're doing right now. Connect with Farmhouse Brothers. Pick up the phone or send a text to tell them you're thinking of them and say hello. I think our men and our world is craving community and that sense of belonging and people to be able to reconnect with. So I hope you'll take time to do that with Farmhouse. And 3rd, to give. We hope that you'll be back for our Farmhouse Day of Giving. In fact, a number of Iowa State men have already answered the call and made their Day of Giving gift, and I hope you will do the same. Again, heartfelt congratulations for Founders Day. Thank you for what you continue to do for Farmhouse. And as I often say, I hope this is not the last time we get to connect. And I sure hope to be at the chapter house really soon, saying hello, getting to spend time with all of you, and getting back into many of your homes and gatherings that we can be together with our alumni and undergraduates. Best wishes for the rest of the semester, gentlemen. Thank you for all you do. Bye.
We are incredibly fortunate to have such an outstanding relationship with Farmhouse International and to have Allison. I know myself and Zach have worked with her on numerous projects, and she's an outstanding leader and does a great job and does a great deal for Farmhouse International and for our particular chapter. So we're incredibly fortunate to have her be able to speak there. Cool. All right. So now we're going to move on to kind of the fun part of the day, the presentations and awards. So we're going to get started with our guest speaker and Heritage Award recipient. So I just want to give a little bit of background on what the Heritage Award is. So it's Iowa State's most recent alumni award. It was started back in 2007, which honors an alumni who is an outstanding example of Farmhouse values and traditions and continues to make an impact on the Iowa State chapter. And this award is also the only one that the chapter itself doesn't vote on. This is awarded by our association board. And so this year, our association board decided to award Jim Freebert with that award. And then also to add a little bit more information, it's a tradition to have 3 freshmen always interview the candidate. So this year we had Abe Schmeideman, Austin Bryan, and then Kyle Goranson. And they all called Jim and interviewed him. And we have this book, and it's called the Heritage Book. It's found in the South Heritage Room right below the nightstand. And if you are interested, Jim's profile is updated. It's the latest edition. You guys are all welcome to read it and learn more about him. But it's a really fun award and tradition that we've maintained throughout the house. But Jim, I didn't want to leave you empty-handed either. So if you want to come forward, we got you a nice farmhouse clock on behalf of the chapter, and appreciate you coming in today and look forward to hear what you have to say as our guest speaker.
And then I got the interview with the guys. That was really neat because, well, we talked about Farmhouse, and that's what it's all about. No, I started out as a pledge class of 58. That's a long time ago. and graduated in 1960. One of the things that I really look forward to, and I hope we can do it again, but at our 50th class reunion, which was in 2010, we had a good gathering of people. But last year, of course, we couldn't do that. So hopefully we can do that again. But it was really neat. I have to start out with FarmHouse. Excuse me. Talking about, I had a relative that was very important. You all know who he was. You saw his picture, C.J. Gallagher. He was my mother's younger sister. And he was in war. He was over to Okinawa. He came back and went to Iowa State, and then he got a degree in agriculture, but he ended up, he was teaching, coaching football. He loved sports. So he was coaching over at Sigourney, Iowa. And then all of a sudden he ended up at Charles City, which is my home county, Floyd County. And here was my extension director. When I started in 4-H as a 9-year-old. And CJ was just a great guy. One of the things that we did, I remember the first year that we had calves in the 4-H, my dad went over to Decorah and got some shorthorn. And you know, the weight limit for a calf was 650 pounds January 1st. And these were crowding that a little bit on the upper side. But we kind of had to shrink them and we got them down so we could make the weight. But when we went to the fair, CJ was our extension director, we had the 2 heaviest calves. And they were huge. 1,400, 1,500 pounds. Anyway, for a 9-year-old, that's a pretty good job to break them to lead. That was something. But anyway, when I talk about FarmHouse, he encouraged me after I found out about King to Iowa State as a freshman. And they contacted me, or I was contacted to rush then on my freshman year. And so I joined FarmHouse then as a sophomore, first year. And guess who I roomed with? I roomed with Joel Hertz. And so I got real well acquainted with Hertz family. And so that's ended up later, of course, I was with Hertz Farm Management. And that's how I made that contact. I see my wife back there, she's peeking around at me. But one of the real advantages I had in FarmHouse was that I got to be a table waiter over at the Theta House. And by gosh, there she was. So I ended up, waited there, I guess the last 2 years, and she was there. And so I pinned her just before I was a senior, or graduated, I should say. And then we got engaged, and we got married in 1961. But 60 years we've been together. Wonderful. Woo! We had a son, Larry, who was a farmhouser in the mid-'80s. What year were you in?
I joined in the fall of '83.
Yes.
A year ahead.
That would be right. Anyway, and Larry's now, he was a mechanical engineer, so he wasn't an agger, he was a mechanical engineer. And he went on and he works for Amcor now and is a plant manager. It's 3 different plants that he's taking care of and overseeing, I guess I should say. But that's been real fun. And then our daughter Ann, she was a maverick. She went to University of Iowa. And, but anyway, all of these contacts that we had and what I've learned from FarmHouse is the quality of the people that are in FarmHouse and the networking that you do and all the contacts you have. Because boy, like with Hertz Farm Management, when I got acquainted with Carl, he remembered me and he finally contacted me. Well, one of the things I need to tell you is, excuse me, back when we were in school, we had the draft. And so we all took our OTC, but I went ahead and decided if I were going to be a college graduate, maybe I ought to become an officer too. So I went the whole 4 years. And that really worked well. But here, when I was here at Iowa State, I was just a lowly squad leader. I just kind of went along with it, and I hate to admit it, but it's true. I only had kept the C average in ROTC. I never really worked at it, and but I always passed. Then we had the fire. Winter quarter of, would be what, 59, right there. That's when we had the fire. And that was just before finals, the winter quarter. And we had to vacate the house. And the worst thing we had was the fire was down in the furnace room in the old house. And it came up, and it didn't burn the house down, but they got put out right away. But Mother Hansel lived right above where the furnace room was. And we were really concerned. We got her stuff out of there in a hurry, got her out of there. But that was really quite a deal. But if you want to know what FarmHouse is all about, what the alumni did at that time to get us to, we ended up with it's not even there. I drove by there this morning over by Oak Hall and Elm Hall. And there used to be 2 family management rooms over there, or buildings, that they taught at home ec. And we were able to move into that house, one of those houses, and keep going. But we all couldn't live there, so we had to form out and we went to different apartments. But it was really a great tribute to our FarmHouse organization, because we were able to keep going. And they remodeled the house and they were able to get back into it. But I graduated after that, so I wasn't involved anymore. But that was really something. But as I said, I had a C average in ROTC. We had that fire, and I went into that finals for ROTC. I just went in. I got a D, only D I got in college. And so I ended up, the colonel called me in and he said, he says, you've been through all of this. He said, you've got to get an A or a B in the spring quarter, or you're going to get a commission. And I thought, ooh. So I cracked down and I got my A. But what's really neat is once I got down to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and went into the service, it was really a good 2 years for us. And we just really enjoyed it. But what I did came out right near the top of the class, and they pulled me out to be an instructor. So I took the same basic course, and I was teaching it, and all the entire classmates I had up here that were at the cadre, they'd look at me and say, how did you get that job? And I said, well, it's just an opportunity. You got to take advantage of it. And we did, but we ended up, I think the 2 years that I spent in the military is some of the best leadership training you'll ever get. And it was some of the best things to make decisions. Boy, you learn to make decisions, and you just had to keep doing it. And that's very important. But we ended up, after the Fort Sill, I would just about, if I hadn't been married, I probably would have stayed in the service. But I ended up, I wanted to get into agriculture, and so I took a job with Extension Service over in Butte County. And then Carl Hertz called me and said, would you like to come work with us? And so I did. And that's been a tremendous experience. That organization, the family, just like here at FarmHouse, same thing, it's all family and togetherness. And we all work together and support each other, and it's really been a great thing. So I guess I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk, but I'm probably to the limit. But I ended up, it's really been, this Ruby Award, that's really something. That's the closest I've ever been to that. Boy, that is really something to be proud of. And what you all do in the house, I sit here and see Linda. She's a good friend, and we see each other down in Florida, don't we? She's very generous. She has a Super Bowl party. And she's very generous in letting all the friends that she knows from Iowa State come down there. So there's a really strong Iowa State contingency there, so it's great. So anyway, I just want to end up by saying congratulations to all of you. You know, I see Jack over there and Luke over there. They're from Nevada.
Yeah.
And Jamie, where's Jamie? You know, I can't believe you were a kindergarten teacher. Now you got these guys.
It works.
Good. So anyway, I think it's time for you to go ahead. Thank you. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you and to help support you. Thank you.
There's a picture. All right. So now we'll keep going, and now we'll get into the actual alumni awards that we as a chapter voted on. And so we're going to begin with the Friends of Farmhouse Award. And so the Friends of Farmhouse Award honors an individual who has demonstrated a special friendship to the chapter. And this year we were fortunate enough to recognize the Iowa Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Nang. And although he wasn't able to be here with us, we were really fortunate on myself, former President Zach Mass, President Luke Fiebold, and then Vice President Jake Stenzel and I. We were all able to go to Des Moines, and that's where this photo was taken. We got to meet with Mike and talk with him for about 20, 30 minutes and just learn about what's going on, as far as Iowa agriculture goes. And Mike's done a lot for our house. He's been a friend to a lot of members and has come and had dinner with us before. And we're gonna have him over for dinner at some point in the future and stuff like that. But really fortunate to have strong connections with leaders in agriculture that really, help benefit us, especially the ag part of the house. So we're incredibly fortunate to have Mike, the recipient of this year's Friends of Farmhouse Award. So next up, we have the Skinner Award. And so a little bit about the Skinner Award. The Skinner Award is given to a woman who has unselfishly given up her time, talents, and love to further enhance the objects and ideals of Farmhouse. And there were many candidates that were brought up in chapter, but this award was decided to be given to Sarah Mark. And so a little bit about Sarah. Sarah graduated from Drake University in 1988, majoring in marketing management. And she then found a job at Principal Financial Group in the pension area. And then Sarah met Todd, former farmhouser, like said, in 83 is when he pledged. I'm at Principal in 1990, and they married a couple years later. And then after being a stay-at-home mom for several years, Sarah became an associate at Johnston Middle School in Johnston, Iowa. And soon after, Sarah found her way to Johnston High School, working in the counseling office. And during her 8 years at Johnston High School, Sarah made an incredible impact on the staff, faculty, and most importantly, the lives of thousands of students. Sarah made it a priority to reach out to students who were struggling academically, socially, and mentally. And she was a true friend to many who felt like they didn't belong. And Sarah currently now works at Johnston Community Education Office. And while Sarah was skeptical of Farmhouse at first because of the negative reputation that fraternities sometimes have, she has since not only grown to love Farmhouse, but has become an integral member of the Farmhouse Moms Club. As a logistical mastermind, Sarah's contributions to Farmhouse keep the fraternity connected and moving forward. And so, Sarah, the men of Farmhouse are honored to present you this year's Skinner Award.
Thank you so much. This just blows my mind. If you don't know my story with Farmhouse, I met a farmhouser a long time ago. When I went to Drake and I was not part of the Greek system. And so when he said he went to Iowa State and was part of a fraternity, I was like, no way. Fraternities are a mess and big schools are a mess. You got to go to Drake. That's a good place. And so for 25 years, I'm sad to say we had no connection with Farmhouse because it was me who set up that wall. And then when it was time for my baby Josh to go to school, they're like, well, let's check out Farmhouse. And I was super skeptical because it's a fraternity. And got here, and honestly, the first thing I remember is those pictures on the wall. And this place is so important. So I want to make up for lost time. I want to do as much as I can for you gentlemen because you have created a family that is better than I could have asked for anything for my son. And, but I try to keep my distance because I don't want to be a hounding mom. But if there's ever anything you need, please let me know. You have been an answer to prayer, because as I prayed for Josh's future, it was, I want him to find himself, to go from a inherited faith to a personal faith. I want him to find lifelong friends. And I know that that is what he has found here, mostly through FarmHouse. So thank you very much for what you do for my son, and let me know how I can help.
All right, and so our last award here is the Snyder Award. And so the Snyder Award is given to an alumni who by their deeds have contributed to the growth and development of the fraternity. And this year we're fortunate to have our chapter advisor, Joel Johnson, be selected as the award recipient. So a little bit about Joel. Joel rushed FarmHouse in 2006 thanks to his brother, Dan Johnson, who was the biggest reason for Joel joining the house. And following his glory days in the house, Joel graduated from Iowa State in the spring of 2010 with an animal science degree, and continued to receive his master's in animal science with a focus in ruminant nutrition from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and started his career there for 2.5 years before returning back to Central Iowa. Sorry, I lost my place. To work for his parents' custom bioproducts company, where he is currently. Joel currently lives in Bondurant, Iowa, and has served as an advisor for the chapter for 3 years and has gone above and beyond the requirements needed from an advisor. We have additionally, because of that, we additionally want to recognize Joel for his 3 years as an advisor, because Joel will not be renewing his advisorship. But I know you have one more meeting left, Joel, but we can't pass up this opportunity. So we want to present you with not only one, but 2 awards. So the Snyder Award, and also a plaque for your 3 years of dedicated service to the chapter. So please welcome Joel Johnson.
Well, hello guys, and thank you very much for these awards. I am especially surprised me. Thank you for that very much. But yeah, it's very humbling to receive these rewards, because to me, FarmHouse has made such a big difference to me. Like Jed said, my brother was who really showed me FarmHouse. He's older than I am, and I can remember moving him in here and coming to events, and I could just see the connections that he was making. And so when I was just on the track of, that's where I want to go. I know I want to go to Iowa State. I want to be a part of FarmHouse, and it's meant a lot to me to be able to give back as an advisor to you guys. I had such good relationships built. I had my pledge dad, Ryan Zinasek, was instrumental in keeping me on course. My chapter advisor, academic advisor, Stephen Lonergan, and he was very intricate in holding me to a higher standard. So as an advisor, it was always my wish to make sure that you guys were staying on course and supporting you as best I can. And moving forward, I hope that you will all be active alumni and find ways to give back to the chapter. Thank you all.
So now we get to move into something new and something special about this Founders Day in particular. So if you don't already know, our house mom, Jamie, in the back, came up with a wonderful idea, and that was to have the members of FarmHouse slowly but surely sew together 3 quilts of valor. And so 2 of them you can see right here. And so like all of last year, she had a little station in the back where members, when they were at night, at any time in the day, they could go and just sew a patch. And so all of our members throughout this past year have been sewing these quilts together. And so this is through a program that's called the Quilts of Valor. And the mission of Quilts of Valor Foundation is to cover service members and veterans touched by war with comforting and healing quilts of valor. And so this year we had 3 quilts finished, and so we are going to be giving them to 2 outstanding FarmHouse alumni and 1 active member who just recently returned back from deployment. And so we're going to begin with the member who couldn't be here today, Kyle Carsons. And so a little bit about Kyle. Kyle graduated from Iowa State in 1989 with a degree in aerospace engineering. He then joined the Navy immediately after college, where he originally planned to work for only 5 to 10 years. but ended up making it a career where he stayed for a grand total of 31 years. Kyle started as a naval flight officer where he supported signal intelligence and performed flight testing evaluation. And then Kyle graduated from the Naval Test Pilot School in 1999 and continued to support signal intelligence. And then Kyle spent some time in the U.S. Army where he provided support in Iraq, working on electronic warfare for assistance in roadside bombs. And then for the last 10 years of Kyle's military career, Kyle worked in acquisitions and sustainment for naval aviation. Kyle recently retired this past year and now resides in Johnston, Pennsylvania, where he works for Huntington Ingalls Industries as a program manager. We're incredibly fortunate to have Kyle as one of this year's recipients of one of our Quilts of Valor. And although Kyle wasn't able to make it in person, we have a short video where Kyle explained what FarmHouse has meant to him over the years. So enjoy.
Look at this view. Look at this. Step back. So to the men of FarmHouse and to House Mom Jamie Hewitt, I am delighted and thrilled to receive this Quilt of Valor from you. I am Kyle Karstens, a Navy veteran and a FarmHouse brother. I want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for their honoring our veterans with this thoughtful gift of handmade quilts. I know each of you took a turn in stitching and sewing this beautiful quilt, and that makes it even more special to me. After graduating from Iowa State, I entered the Navy basically to go fly, and I thought I would be in the Navy only for 5 or 6 years. But I stayed in the Navy for 31 years because I found the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment were really just a continuation of the values that we lived every day at FarmHouse. Values such as ambition, honesty, service, and excellence. When one lives with, goes to school with, serves with, and works with men and women who share the same high values and ideals, every day with them is fulfilling. That's why I loved about FarmHouse, and that's why I stayed with the Navy for so long. I've been truly blessed to have both of these fine organizations in my life. I join you virtually on this Founders Day as we celebrate almost 100 years of the Iowa State chapter of FarmHouse, and to reaffirm today our commitment to FarmHouse's fraternal brotherhood as builders of men. FarmHouse has brought me deep and lifelong friendships with great men like my pledge dad, Dr. Stephen Lonergan, whom I still revere, and others who brought me into the house and guided me there, people such as Pete Howell, Ken Ashley, Dr. Mike Almasi, and Eugene Rodberg. You probably recognize their names as they continue to serve, and their influence still prevails at Iowa State FarmHouse and through their sons' own membership in the house. Thank you again today to House Mom Jamie, to your alumni director Jed Weiss, and to all the men of FarmHouse fraternity who cut, stitched, and sewed this beautiful quilt. Have a great Founders Day, and Godspeed.
Huge thank you for Kyle for making that video. And yeah, so now we get to move on to our two members who get to receive in person. So I'd like to welcome Luke Feeble, President Luke Feeble, and Vice President Jake Stencil to start the build. And so next up, we have current board member Ken Ashley. And so a bit about Ken. Ken graduated from Iowa State in 1988 with a degree in business and was commissioned through the Air Force ROTC program. He served a 28 career on active duty in the Air Force Reserves and retired in 2016 from the Air National Guard. Ken started his career as an F-16 fighter pilot stationed in Germany. His squadron was involved in Desert Storm in 1991, patrolling the post-Gulf War no-fly zones over Iraq and other international deployments. Ken was then assigned as an F-16 instructor pilot in Arizona and rose to various positions of leadership in his reserve squadron. For the last 6 years of Ken's military career, Ken served as an F-16 instructor pilot for the 124th Fighter Squadron in Des Moines. His last deployment was to Afghanistan in 2013, providing armed overwatch and supporting coalition forces on the ground. For the past 23 years, Ken has also been an airline pilot for United Airlines. And additionally, in 2017, Ken became a board member for our Iowa State FarmHouse chapter and continues to serve as a board member to this day. And so, Ken, we are incredibly fortunate to have you as a board member, and we are thrilled to present you with one of this year's Quilts of Valor.
Hold on. Still posted. That's an outstanding quilt there, guys. Thank you. Well, I can't, this will have a place of honor in my house. I'd like to thank Jen for putting all of this together, everything that went on here today with the challenges of COVID. Outstanding job. Jamie for this Quilts of Valor program, honoring the veterans that have served, the ones that are serving. Couldn't be more appreciative of what that brings, and how it makes people feel. Thank you to the man that stitched it. I mean, I know it wasn't easy. I know if I'd been doing, there'd be blood on it. So I appreciate the effort, appreciate the hands and fingers to make this all happen. So again, this will have a huge place of honor in my house. Probably right beside my pledge panel. It means that much. Pledge panel is more than just wood. This is more than just thread and material. So I appreciate it very much, guys. Honored to be here with great company, with Hunter, Kyle. Great video, Kyle. If you're listening, you stole my lines, so I'm gonna come with some new ones. But it's great company being here with these fine people. Also raise their hand to serve. You know, I look back on my military career, and I think I did about 26 years ago. It seemed like it was a long time. I couldn't have done it without FarmHouse. FarmHouse kind of laid that brotherhood foundation, that foundation principles that, as again Kyle alluded, the military actually speaks to that. It's baked into the culture of the military: the service, the excellence, the integrity, the commitment, the sacrifice that goes along with that. So, as Jim alluded, being in the military is an outstanding way to keep that going, keep the brotherhood feeling going. So, I couldn't be more thankful for that part of it. So Jen told me I had 1 minute to tell what FarmHouse meant about to me. So I said, wait, you can take my daughter to formal. Can I get 2 minutes? So, when I compare military life to FarmHouse life, brotherhood. Brotherhood is where it's at. Brotherhood is, the 2 places I found that was FarmHouse in my formative years, and it just continued to transition into the military side of things. So there are 2 truisms. Brotherhood makes it part of something bigger than yourself. You realize, you might not realize it. I didn't realize it. I was just having fun in FarmHouse. So you get out and you realize that was something special. The same feeling after I left the military. Having fun there, that was something special, something bigger than myself. So what that gives, FarmHouse has been around for 116, right? A couple days ago, at the birthday, 116 years ago. So it was here before us. God willing, it'll be here after us. The military has a long, storied history. God willing, it'll be here after us. So being part of that, being part of something is very unique in this world. So cherish your time at FarmHouse, because this brotherhood goes till the end for all of us. So that's one of the cool things about it. Brotherhood, people that are committed to each other, people that are, and again, I'm talking from a military perspective and FarmHouse, committed to get things done, get a mission done, achieve an objective, and do great things. As you've seen, you guys have done this Ruby Cup, right? A couple times now. It's been here for 2 years. I expect 3, right? Let's get a couple more. The philanthropy, the burrito build you guys do. I mean, it just shows what can be accomplished. The GPAs, we're 2 semesters in that, 2 years to be number 1, right? Your board expects you again, so you kind of set the bar pretty high. But even small things like bed races. You guys want bed races, right? Yeah. That just doesn't happen without brotherhood, without being there for each other, without knowing that dude in awkwardly tight shorts pushing right beside you is going to do his part. So, but yeah, so that's one of my takeaways from my formative years of brotherhood here at FarmHouse. But when it boils down to it, what I found in the military over here, it's really about the guy beside you. It's about the brother beside you. If he needs your help, if you enjoy life with him, you celebrate his victories, and he celebrates yours. If he takes a knee for something, you take a knee right along with him. So that was something I saw here, I learned here. Well, it was reinforced here, and then the military just took it also to another level. So the military would call that being a good wingman. where you're always checking each other's six, or mutual support. They've got all these terms for it, but it's really brotherhood. It's about that brotherhood that is being instilled, whether you realize it's happening to you here or not. This is where brotherhood happens. So when I see highs like Atlantis 2 months ago, you guys brothers got baptized, right? Some of you baptized each other. That's brotherhood. When you guys dealt with the COVID issue, the lows of that, how your house responded to it, you even got noted for it, right? Didn't we get noted for that? Taking that low and turn that into brotherhood. You could easily kick people out of the house when they got COVID, but you didn't. You stayed a brother, you kept them in the house, you supported them. That's brotherhood. So I thank you and FarmHouse for giving me that sense of brotherhood that I was able to carry forward into really the rest of my life. So thank you again for the quilt. It's outstanding quilt, but it's special for who it's from. So thank you very much.
I knew it wasn't a matter of if, but when you're going to make a comment. All right. So next up, this one's really special. We have an active member who's back from deployment, Hunter Stump. So all about Hunter. Hunter is the son of Doug and Ann Stump and is originally from Waukee, Iowa. Hunter enlisted in the Iowa National Guard in June of 2017 as a medic. After completing training in 2018, Hunter joined the 133 Infantry Regiment in Waterloo, Iowa. Hunter then came to Iowa State as an agriculture engineer, switching to biosystems engineering his second semester. Hunter's planning on continuing his military career, most likely active duty and full-time after college. He's also considered a physician assistant program for the U.S. Army. Most recently, Hunter was deployed just recently this past semester to Qatar in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. During that time, Hunter received the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal while on deployment for completing over 60 hours of service while working overseas. Members of FarmHouse and guests, let's give a warm welcome back for a brother to our chapter and celebrate Hunter's commitment to our nation and safe return back home.
I didn't cry and I hugged my mom, but I might now. Those of you who don't know me, Hunter Stump, graduated from Waukee High School in 2017. Shortly thereafter, enlisted in the National Guard as a medic. Then came to FarmHouse in 2018 in Iowa State. In 2018, after doing initial training. So I took a full year off, and I'd take another year off, so I'd be like a super senior. It was I was a part of security forces, so that's what we did as an infantry regiment. I'm personally medic in the infantry regiment, so I was doing all the gate guard and that kind of thing, but I just stayed busy. I did my thing and mostly COVID response. So really, I didn't do very much, but I was overseas and now I'm back. So I can't really say anything more. The Army is a continuation of FarmHouse. Is the brotherhood, the values, they're all the same. There's really nothing more I can add. Ken did a very good job, so did Kyle. It's very similar. So I really appreciate all of you, and I really appreciate the support you gave me. I didn't have, I went a good time in my life where I don't really have very many responsibilities. But it was good knowing that I had people to support me that were looking for me to come back and reaching out to me. Especially Joel. Joel Johnson did a very good job of reaching out to me, and I was very good at responding. That's just another element of brotherhood. He's reaching out, just checking in, asking me how I was doing, and yeah, I didn't respond for maybe 2 or 3 days, but it was nice having that and knowing that there's still a sense of brotherhood He's just our advisor, so maybe bi-weekly, you guys take it every week you rotate, so. But just that, to be a part of FarmHouse, be a part of our organization, that we will do anything for each other, Seth Ashley is currently in the Air Force. He actually just got done with base training a while ago, and so Ken's son, and he was my pledge dad. And I remember one of the things he told me is that FarmHouse is that place that if you saw a guy that you might not like in FarmHouse, you might not get along, but you should be ready to get in a fight with him. Just like you should be ready to do anything for him. And I really take to that because that is a different element of brotherhood that people don't understand. That's definitely not something that any other fraternity, especially here at Iowa State, understands. So I won't keep working, but thank you for your support, and I'm glad to be back.
Thanks, guys. So next up, we're going to move into the scholarship part of the presentation. So Matt.
Hi guys, this is the fun part where we give away money. Yeah, the presentation of scholarships. We'll do a little intro here. The Iowa chapter of FarmHouse Fraternity boasts a long tradition of programs and activities for building men. Over the years, the men who have called FarmHouse home have sought to give back to the fraternity that has provided the structure of a well-grounded fourfold vision of life. They have done this to continue with the FarmHouse tradition of providing opportunities for current and future FarmHouse leaders. The individuals whom these scholarships honor are examples of building the FarmHouse tradition. These scholarships stand not only as an exemplary FarmHouse model of helping others achieve their goals, but they also serve to encourage and aid members in their academic and professional pursuits. The following scholarships will be for the next academic year. The 2021-22 Scholarship Selection Committee consisted of alumni Ryan Zenisek, Randy Hertz, Dr. Stephen Lonergan, and Joel Johnson, along with Felipe Rodriguez-Piquet, as a representative of the active chapter. The review criteria was based on scholastic achievement, leadership potential, financial need, and demonstration of FarmHouse values. We'd like to thank the chapter for their participation in the application process. The committee reviewed over 44 applications, and we're going to be awarding 30 individual scholarships today. The committee would also like to thank all of the donors who make this scholarship program possible. The donations come from fellow FarmHouse brothers, as well as their spouses, family, and friends of FarmHouse fraternities. We recognize that these funds are an incredible resource for the chapter and appreciate the unique position this generosity places on our chapter members when compared to other fraternities at Iowa State University. You guys should definitely appreciate this program that we've been able to create here with our generous donors. I'd also like to mention, I got an email last night that the Taylor Williams Scholarship has been up from $1,500 to $2,000 because of Taylor Williams' parents, Roger and Georgianne. They donated a little bit extra to bulk up that scholarship too. So huge thanks to them. Definitely whoever receives that, give them a call. Maybe visit them sometime over the summer. They're great people. I was in the house with Taylor Williams. He's a great man, and it's a great honor to see a scholarship named after him. To start off, we'll start off with the Jean and Linda Lloyd Scholarship for Excellence. Linda Lloyd is so generous, and I'm so glad that she's used her generosity to contribute to the scholarship fund. I think it's a great way to make an impact on college men. So I'll invite Linda Lloyd to come up and actually, could we thank Linda? So yeah, I'll read a little bit about this scholarship is available from the Jean and Linda Lloyd Iowa State Farmhouse Educational Excellence Endowment Fund, which is established by a gift from Linda Lloyd. The scholarship is intended to recognize and reward excellence as a farmhouse man. The scholarship is available to all undergraduate members who are initiated in farmhouse fraternity and currently enrolled at ISU. Recipients must have a cumulative grade point average above the chapter's average and carry a course schedule typical for their classification. Selection is based on academic achievement, integrity, ethics, initiative, and industry conducive to ongoing leadership, career potential, and service to others. So here, this year we have 6 separate $5,000 awards. So thank you, Linda, for that. We'll start off, and if the applicants could come up, and we got certificates for you guys, and then maybe take a picture with Linda here. So the first awarded member, Tyler Boltina the next award member is Brendan Mass from Melbourne, Our next recipient is Colton Moore. And then our next recipient is Andy Schmidt from St. Anthony, Minnesota. And then we got Jake Stencil from Hamburg, Iowa. And then our sixth recipient is Jed Weiss from another round of applause for Linda. Congratulations to those guys. We'll continue on. I'll have Ryan step up and actually, Ryan, maybe I'll have you announce it from here, and then Joel, if you want to hand out the.
Good morning, everyone. So my name is Ryan Zemisek. I currently serve on the association board, and I had the privilege of being chair of the scholarship committee this spring. So the next scholarship we'll be announcing today is the J.C. and Mary Holbert Scholarship. This scholarship fund is held at the ISU Foundation. Applicants must be enrolled in at least their 3rd semester at Iowa State and be an active member of the Iowa State chapter of Farmhouse Fraternity. The scholarship amount is $1,500 and will be awarded to Brock Elbert. So the next award is J.C. Holbert Memorial Scholarship. Applicants must be enrolled in at least their third semester at Iowa State and be an active member of the Iowa State chapter of Farmhouse Fraternity. This scholarship is held at the FarmHouse Foundation. The award is for $2,000 and will be awarded to Luke People. The next award is Taylor Harold Williams Memorial Scholarship. The Taylor Harold Williams Memorial Scholarship is made in loyal memory of our brother Taylor Harold Williams, Iowa 2011. The recipient must be an initiated member of FarmHouse Fraternity and enrolled in the College of Engineering. The recipient must exemplify the farmhouse object and must be considered by their peers as builder of men. The recipient will be selected based on academic achievement, exemplary integrity, ethics, initiative, and industry conducive to ongoing leadership, career potential, and service to others. The endowment for this scholarship is held at FarmHouse Foundation. The award will be $2,000, and the recipient is Matthew Beeger. Next will be Gaylord and Helen Wilson Scholarship. Applicants must be seeking a degree in College of Agricultural and Life Sciences. Applicants must be enrolled in at least their third semester at Iowa State and be an active member of Iowa State chapter of FarmHouse Fraternity. Applicants must demonstrate good scholarship and leadership potential, as well as good career potential in agriculture or a related field. This scholarship fund is held at FarmHouse Foundation for $1,000 to Andrew Arnott. Continuing on. Continuing on, Lloyd Bettis Scholarship, awarded to new members or members in good standing of the FarmHouse Fraternity. Selection is based on academic achievement, leadership within the chapter, and activities and leadership on campus and the community. Award will be $2,000 to Josiah Bartlett. And next will be the Thomas J. and Georgia M. Vincent Scholarship. The purpose is to provide an annual scholarship to an undergraduate student member with junior classification of the Iowa State Chapter FarmHouse Fraternity who has exhibited the most significant growth in character as defined by fraternity's fourfold development and is a builder of men. The recipient shall have a cumulative grade point average above or equal to 3.0 and shall maintain satisfactory behavior and progress in brotherhood of FarmHouse Fraternity. The scholarship is administered by FarmHouse Foundation for $1,000 to Kellen Cosgrove.
Thanks, Ryan. Then we'll have Randy Hertz. Announce your next one.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be able to announce these scholarships. The first one is the Carl Hertz Scholarship. An applicant should be or needs to be seeking a degree in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Must be enrolled in their third semester and be an active member of the FarmHouse chapter. This scholarship is in the amount of $2,000, and this year's recipient is Felipe Rodriguez. The next scholarship is the Iowa Farmhouse Memorial Scholarship. The Farmhouse Association established this scholarship for Farmhouse brother chapter members have to have a GPA above the chapter fall average and is based on your commitment to the fourfold development. The amount is $1,000, and this year's awardee is Max Carver. next scholarship is the Lloyd and Catherine Bettis Farmhouse Fraternity Scholarship. It's awarded to new members or members in good standing of Farmhouse. Selections based on academic achievement and financial need. It's an amount of $1,500. This year's awardee is Byron Frank. The next scholarship is the Gary Ravy Scholarship. It's to provide a scholarship to student members of the Farmhouse chapter. One scholarship will be awarded to a student their first year, another scholarship to their second year, another scholarship to the third year. Recipients will be selected on the basis of academic achievement, financial need, campus participation, and chapter leadership. In addition, they want to see someone with integrity, ethics, initiative, and that they're industrious. The amount of the three scholarships, the first one is $1,500, and this is the sophomore Abe Skype. The second Ravy Scholarship for a junior is to, again, $1,500 to Jack Cahill. And the third Ravy Scholarship for a senior, $1,500 to Joshua Martin. The next scholarship is the Mary Claire Morfeld Scholarship. It was established by MC. The purpose of the fund was to provide an annual academic scholarship to an undergraduate member who exemplifies the Farmhouse object, demonstrates strong involvement, and considered to be a builder of men. The recipient has to be a 3.0 grade point or better, and is selected on the basis of having demonstrated gentlemanly conduct, exemplary integrity, ethics, passion, and respect for Farmhouse, as well as service to others. This scholarship is in $500 and it's in Nate Frank. The Richard and Louise Connell Scholarship. It was funded by Richard Connell, initiated in '49 in memory of his wife, Louise Connell, and to honor his membership and involvement with Farmhouse. The recipient will exemplify the Farmhouse object and to be considered a builder of men. The scholarship is $500 and awarded to Ryan Heron. Thank you. Joe gets the next set.
Yeah, Joe Honors.
Thanks, everyone. This is one of my favorite parts of Founders Day, giving away all this money. It's so exciting. I was at a retreat with all the chapter advisors from all the Greek system about a year ago, and the only house that gives away more money than Farmhouse is the Teague House, and they're absolutely huge. And so for a house of our size to have this amount of money to give in scholarships is just outstanding, and it's so exciting. The first scholarship that I'll be presenting today is the Tobin and Higley Family Scholarship. The purpose is to provide a scholarship annually to a student leader of the Iowa State University chapter of Farmhouse Fraternity who exemplifies the Farmhouse object and are builders of men. The recipients will be selected based on academic achievement, exemplary integrity, ethics, initiative, and industry inclusive to ongoing leadership, career potential, and service to others. The scholarship is administered by the FarmHouse Foundation and is made possible by gifts from Jim Tobin and Virginia Hegney. The amount of the scholarship is $1,500 and will be presented to Duke Cottingham. Next scholarship, I'm especially proud to present. It's provided by a pledge brother of mine, the Handor Family Entrepreneurship Scholarship. The purpose of the scholarship is to recognize and reward outstanding men of the Iowa State University chapter of FarmHouse International Fraternity who aspire to establish or have established their own business and or are active in Iowa State University's entrepreneur courses and programs with the intention to have a future career as an entrepreneur. Criteria used for the scholarship recipient include demonstrated interest and initiative in entrepreneurship, such as university coursework, internship experience with an emerging company, owning a small business, or intentions to establish their own business. The amount is $1,000 and is awarded to Micah Lance. Next one, the Iowa FarmHouse Magellan Study Abroad Scholarship. This scholarship is open to all active FarmHouse chapter members. Applicants must be participants in academic study abroad programs administered by the Iowa State University. The intent of the scholarship is to support the expenses associated with study abroad. The scholarship fund is held at FarmHouse Foundation. Riley Smith, Jess Phelps, and Clint Foss established the fund. The award will be made at the time of this study abroad activity for $2,000. That's for Andrew or not. Sorry, Matt, just make me aware that I skipped one. And probably the most important one because it's given out by the chapter advisors. The FarmHouse Builder Event Scholarship. The scholarship is open to all active FarmHouse chapter members. Selection is made by the chapter advisors and is based on demonstration of leadership, integrity, and dedication to the fourfold development that are central to building FarmHouse. The amount is $1,450 and is awarded to Andrew Schmidt. Next scholarship is the Lynn and Marilyn Benson Study Abroad Scholarship. The scholarship is open to all active FarmHouse men and or female students who are legacies of alumni members of the Iowa State chapter FarmHouse fraternity. Applicants must be participants in academic study abroad programs administered by the Iowa State University. The intent of the scholarship is to support the expense associated with the study abroad. This scholarship is held by the FarmHouse Foundation in the amount of $500 for Andrew or not. Great, finally, the Ron Orth Freshman Scholarship. The recipients of the Iowa FarmHouse Ron Orth Freshman Scholarship should be high in scholarship and dedicated to leadership and service to FarmHouse, the Iowa State University, and the community at large. An ideal applicant should have a commitment to advance the object of our fraternity. To be eligible for this award, members must be in their first year of undergraduate studies and must have earned a GPA at least equal to the chapter average in the previous semester. The scholarship amount is $2,000 and is awarded to Noah Conrad.
Typically, the association board, well, if the scholarship committee so chooses, sometimes at the end of the selected scholarship, they'll give a list of special recognition scholarships that they'd like the board to also extend funds to. The special recognition scholarships from the Farmhouse Association are given by the association board and approved using funds from the Building and Loan Endowment. The board is pleased to recognize these members who have demonstrated strong academic achievement, as well as significant leadership involvement within Farmhouse and on campus. So the awards are 4 separate awards of $500. Our first is Parker Artery. Is that correct? Artery. Our second recipient is John Titus Barnett. Third recipient is Brian Fort. And our other recipient is Ben Vanderleest. Thank you, everyone. And just maybe a final round of applause for all the donors, all the donations that now I'll introduce Joe Waters to give our donor award presentation. So Joe.
Thank you. Before I present the donor award this year, I'd just like to give a shout out to all the seniors. In my 5 years of being an advisor here at Farmhouse, we've never had such a strong response for the donor award. And this year, we had many excellent candidates, and it was really hard to narrow it down to just one. So shout out to the whole senior class this year. All right, the Doan Award, established in 1947 by founder D. Howard Doan, the Doan Award is given to the outstanding senior of each chapter who is considered by his peers to have contributed the most to his chapter and his brothers. This is the only international award given to individual chapter members. The purpose of the Doan Award is to recognize appropriately those farmhouse men who, by their deeds, have put living reality in the fraternity's most major objective. Monuments are built throughout our land to honor those who have, under the stress of war and the heat of battle, offered their lives to help and save others. In contrast, this plaque will find a modest place in the corner of a room in a fraternity house. On it, the names of those men who have offered something of themselves to help others along with quiet paths of everyday living will be engraved. It will never become a monument to public heroes, but it will record the same spirit and motives that make heroes. A quote by D. Howard Doan. Each senior is considered by his peers on the following qualifications: influence for good, moral and religious conduct, sacrifices, honesty, conduct of business affairs, scholarship, and activities. This year's Doan Award winner has embraced all of these qualities. He served as a chapter vice president and recruitment chair. He's also been a member of the Student Alumni Leadership Council Homecoming Central Committee, a leader in the Salt Company, and an Ivy College of Business peer mentor, all while keeping a 4-point grade GPA. He's always willing and never too busy to lend a helping hand whether it's for working on lawn displays or in varieties or whatever. His dedication and excellence in Farmhouse's fourfold development resounded throughout his peers' recommendations. I'd like you all to help me congratulate this year's Doan Award winner, Isaac Arnold.
as Joe mentioned, like I look around the room and I see dozens of guys that deserve this, and I'm humbled and honored to be the one that gets my name written down, but you guys know there's several of you that deserve this, and I thank you guys and appreciate it. Hearing Sarah speak earlier about like what Farmhouse meant to Josh and her as a parent, like the conversations I've had with my parents and realize what Farmhouse meant to me is incredible. And I mean, I'm humbled and very thankful for that. Thank you guys. Yeah, just very gracious for this. Thank you.
So that concludes everything we have planned. So as this Founders Day comes to a close, I want to thank all the recipients for being here. And this was an amazing day. I want to thank our association board members, especially those present with scholarships. Thank you. I also want to give a huge shout out to Jamie for helping with breakfast, for putting on this event for the Quilts of Valor, and just for owning your role as a house mom. You do an amazing job and go so underappreciated. And so thank you to Jamie. Live stream. I want to thank Felipe for making this wonderful presentation. I threw some stuff together, but you made it look good. So huge shout out to those guys too. And then lastly, just I want to thank all the alumni that were joining, just for all your support in this and for our house, and just for making this fraternity have the same values that never cease to stop, and just that's the thing I think is most special about Farmhouse is the values that never cease. And so I hope everyone here feels proud to be a part of such an amazing organization. I would wish you all a wonderful weekend, and yeah, thank you for being here for Founders Day.